Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com back with some recap and analysis of the Steelers' critical season saving, whatever you want to call it, 2019 victory in Week 13 over the Baltimore Ravens, a very classic Steelers-Ravens game going down to the wire. And you have to give the Steelers a ton of credit here for getting the win. You didn't care how it happened, whether that was by one or by 31. It was by one, a gutsy effort, heart victory for Pittsburgh. Let's talk about it. The setup for this game was obvious. Pittsburgh loses this one. They drop to 5-6-1. Their season is effectively over. The AFC North is completely out of the question. Still going to be tough to do, but with a loss completely out of the question and a playoff push, even with seven seeds in this very competitive AFC, would have been next to impossible given the schedule the rest of the way. And so it was one you had to have. You had to bounce back after that just ugly, embarrassing loss to the Bengals. I certainly was skeptical of whether or not this team could do it. I picked the Steelers to lose, so egg on my face for that one. But they proved me wrong, and I'm so happy to see that and to watch that unfold. Certainly, the first half was not really a whole lot to get excited about, but I think the overall theme of this game was you kept the score down in the first half so you could rally in the second half. And Pittsburgh's defense by no means was great in this game. They had their issues, and that's typical against the Ravens, which are challenging in so many different and unique ways. But they, as the phrase that Dave and I used on the podcast throughout the week was bend but did not break. Baltimore, I believe, maybe 2 or 3, 2 or 4 in the red zone. I want to say 1 point they were 1 and 3. They got the touchdown late there, obviously. So overall, the Ravens weren't cashing in their red zone trips. They were converting on third down. They weren't converting as often inside the red zone. So that kept the score down in the first half. It was what, a 10-3 ball game at halftime, I believe, and so that allowed Pittsburgh to be competitive as opposed to the Bengals game where it's obviously 31-3 at halftime and you're just out of the game by the time the first half concludes. So the score got kept down. The defense did play better overall. This team plays Lamar as well as any team has done this season. They capitalized. They got pressure. They sent a lot of heat. You knew Pittsburgh would blitz more in this game. You had to do it. It was kind of playing outside their personality, to use the Tomlin phrase. They played cover zero in this game. The Steelers do not play cover zero ever. And they did it in this game because they knew they had to do something different to get different results. It didn't always work, wasn't always perfect. Lamar, of course, made plays and ran around, and it's so tough to do. But so much credit to this defense for that bend but don't break approach in a game where the Steelers ran what, 6 plays in the first quarter. The time of possession battle was so lopsided in the first half, first three quarters in this one, and Pittsburgh making the stands when they had to. And of course, T.J. Watt, unbelievable player, 3.5 sacks in this game. Chris Wormley, a great game against his former team, 2.5 sacks, 7 sacks total on Lamar and Watts. Pressure on that 2 point conversion, just enough to make a slightly errant throw by Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews in the right flat, bounces off his hand, and the Steelers win the game after recovering the onside kick. And so, guys stepping up in this one defensively, Akella Witherspoon, Montravius Adams. I thought Bush played a bit better. Overall, Arthur Millette wasn't great in this game, but just kind of that downhill guy that he needed to be a blitzer, to be a run stuffer, and things like that. And of course, your stars played great. DJ Watt with 3.5 sacks and Minka Fitzpatrick red zone interception off of a Watt pressure. So bend but didn't break. And that was kind of the theme in this one. And no big plays allowed overall defensively in terms of chunk 60-yard touchdown stuff like that, and so that was really critical. Offensively, I did not like the game plan coming out. Tomlin talked about they wanted to commit to the run, and I guess they did break through the other side in the second half. But I thought it was kind of running into a wall. It was going to be tough to do against the Ravens. You're going to put yourself in third and long. I can't give enough credit to this offensive line as a whole. They were in third and long a lot in this game, unfortunately, with the run game not being super efficient or effective. And against that Ravens, defense that throws a lot at you, it can be tough to handle. And I thought just the O line from an assignment recognition standpoint did a good job. Wasn't perfect. Felt like there were some missed assignments that weren't even always the O line fault. Maybe Najee Harris missed a pickup, or there was a hot read, the Claypool that might have missed once or twice. And so I thought the actual line played really well. Ben, I think, sacked once. It might have been on that broken play that he just dove for on a busted RPO. But overall, credit to Dan Moore Jr., to John LeGlue coming in. This team's essentially fifth string left guard I thought he played really well, basically replacing BJ Finney very early in that game. He's got a back injury, and we'll see what his status is going forward. So a lot of guys stepping up there. The O line I thought did a nice job. Run blocking wasn't great in the first half, got better in the second half. Still wasn't great, but certainly better in a couple of nice runs on those last drive or two for the Steelers. And so again, situational football. It was really bad start, third down offense. They finished the game I think 5 of 12. I believe they were 0 and 4, 1 of 5 to start this game. So got some conversions late. And, I think Canada did not call a great game in the first half. I thought some of the route concept, some of the scheme on those two touchdowns were really impressive. A scissors concept to get Johnson wide open on the first touchdown that he caught, where the Ravens did not communicate, did not pass that off correctly. And then that little return route underneath Fryermuth on the second touchdown, which was a great route and a great catch and a really good scheme overall. And so credit to Deontay Johnson, had that drop, obviously touchdown in the first half. He's got a really short term memory. He bounces back and he fights hard from start to finish, even whenever he does make the occasional bad play. I think that was proven last year and proven this year. And so you just see the mental growth in his game. That's been really impressive. So overall, no matter how you get the win, you wanted to get the win. You needed to get the win, not even a want. It was a must-have in this one. And again, credit to Pittsburgh for backs against the wall. This team always seems to figure it out. And maybe in a sense, playing the Ravens was a good thing because you always kind of up your game when it's Steelers Ravens week. And with how much this game meant, you knew you had to bring it. The Ravens were looking to basically try to end Pittsburgh's season, and they did not. Pittsburgh gets the win, and they'll have a very short week to go on the road to Minnesota for Thursday night against the Vikings. So, a lot to cover in this one. We certainly will throughout the week. Excited to talk about a win. It's been a couple weeks since we've gotten to do that. It's been ties and losses and doom and gloom and despair, and just excited to get a win against anybody, let alone a Ravens team that you thought Pittsburgh had a tough time to try to win and beat today, and Pittsburgh did. So kudos to them, kudos to that coaching staff for a good plan. I thought overall, and the players for ultimately executing and outlasting the Ravens, which is how these games typically go. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. If you guys could like the video, I'd really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon.